section breaks we usually use in chapters, not between chapters, or between large sections of the thesis. So if, for example, you want your prelims, your preliminary parts of the thesis, so that's your title page, your abstract, your list of illustrations, your acknowledgements, a list of figures and tables if you have one, glossary if you have one, your table of contents, all of that stuff that's not actually the main body of the thesis. We call that prelims, okay? So you might want your prelims to have a different numbering system than the main body of your thesis. You might want your prelims, for example, to be numbered with Roman numerals, so I, and so on. And then you might want the main body of your thesis, so from chapter 1, to be numbered with Arabic numerals, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way down to the end. To do that, you're going to need to create a section break. You might also, inside your chapter, have a figure or a table that needs to take up a whole page. And so or that's wide rather than high. So the portrait layout of the page is going to chop off some of your table or some of your figure, and it actually needs to be rotated to landscape. So one of the ways in which you can manage that is also with section breaks. So let's take the second problem first, and then we'll do the first problem. Because I have figures in this document, I can do that. So let me just find one. So say, for example, I actually don't want this figure to be so small. I really want this figure to be larger. But if I make it larger, it's going to overrun the margins, right? So currently we are in portrait. Portrait is the default layout. Landscape is when you flip the page and the shorter ends are here and the longer ends are there, right? So we want to do that. We want to change the layout, but you can't just change it, because if you put section breaks in the wrong places, it's going to change the rest of your document. So you want to be very careful about how you do this. So you want to say, just this section, just figure 1, that's the only little bit that I want to have on a landscape page. I don't want to have anything else in this chapter on the landscape page. So you put your cursor at the end of the sentence before the section that you want to break out, okay? And you come here at the top now to insert, and you want to scroll down to break, okay? And then this will appear. Now, I think I want a continuous section break. I might want a next page one, I'm not sure, but I'm going to give this a try. So I come here and I say, I want a continuous section break. Okay, so now it's put that in for me. But now if I suddenly go in and say, okay, change the page layout, it's going to change everything after this. So I need to now also mark out the end of this section. So I've marked out the beginning of this section. I need to now mark out the end. So you actually have to put the cursor at the beginning of the next sentence or line or heading. Right. Okay, so now I want to try this again. I've got a section break here, and I've got a section break here. And now I want to actually then say orientation, landscape, and see if this works. Okay, do you see what I've done there? So this will go down until the last bit of the text, and this will then put the document over here. So what I can do is I can now make it really big, right? It'll fit onto this page now because it's landscaped, but I don't want my whole document to be like this. So this section break then will enable me to carry on with my text. Now, of course, I'm going to have to move that down because I can't have a figure heading just like that. Okay, so then you can start doing more of the formatting. So that's section breaks, right, inside your document. But say you do want to do this different page numbering. Okay, so say, for example, this is my acknowledgements, and then I've got my chapter 1 starting down here. So this is acknowledgements, abstract. Okay, so this is my abstract. Say your abstract will actually be the thing right after your title page. So let's just say this is your list of figures. So these are some of your prelims. Okay, right. Well, let's make it uniform. There's figures and tables. So now say you've got here like title page, abstract, table of contents, acknowledgements, list of figures and tables. You've got all your prelims, and then you've got chapter 1 starting. And now you want to do different numbering systems. So you'll see, of course, you've got a page break, acknowledgements, page break, because listed tables and figures must start on its own page break, and then chapter 1 starts. So you actually need the prelims to be one whole section and the rest of the thesis to be another whole section. So what you're going to do is create a continuous section break, just one this time. You're going to put the cursor at the beginning of chapter 1, and you're going to come to insert, break, continuous section break. Has it inserted it now? Why can't I see it? Is it up here? Yes, okay, it's up there. So that's where it's put it. Now I'm going to hope that this works, because page numbering is one of the things that always drives me bonkers. So what you'll do is you'll then come here and you're going to now insert your page number. So you come to insert again, and you go down to page numbers. Okay, click on that. This little box opens up and it says to you, where do you want your page number? Do you want it on the bottom of the page on the right, on the bottom of the page in the center, on the bottom of the page in the left? I always put page numbers on the bottom of the page rather than the top. You can do inside outside, which basically means that or you can do outside inside, which basically means that on page 1 it'll be over here, on page 2 it'll be over there, and it'll alternate left, right. You can decide. I generally tend to go super simple, middle of the page, bottom of the page, there's my page number. Okay. You can leave show number on the first page ticked for now. And then what you want to do is you want to click on format, because this is going to enable you to change the number format. So what you want to say is, here, I would like it to be 1, 2, 3, please. And I would like to start at 1. Okay. So you can then say, okay, okay. And it's put the page numbers in 1, 2. Okay. Obviously, if there are 12 pages here, it'll go all the way up to the Roman numerals of 12. But if you scroll down, now look, it's gone 3. So, it's reading it as a whole document, but it's changed the numbering format to Arabic numbers, which is what I want. So what you do here then is you're going to click on this and you go to insert page numbers again. Okay. You're going to say format, and you're going to say start at 1, because this is the first page of the first section, right? You don't want to continue from the previous section. You want to start at 1. And so you say, okay, and it will renumber it from 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, and off it goes. And then every document you add to this, every chapter that you copy and paste into this document as you're putting it all together, should have continuous numbering. But if you have numbered a chapter that you've been working on because your supervisor said, please number the chapters so that I can say on page 6, there's a problem. On page 12, you need to go and look at something else, right? That's quite a helpful thing to do for a reader. Then you're going to need to delete all those page numbers before you put them into your master document. Otherwise, you are going to create a whole headache for yourself around page numbers. The easiest thing to do is okay, so say you're in this normal document, click on the page number, double click really fast. It'll open up the headers and footers. You highlight the page number and you delete, and it will delete all of them. They will all just go away. Very, very, very easy to do. Okay. And then you can close your header and footer. So the header and footer only opens when you actually double click on it. So the header is this section of the document. That's kind of, you can't really see it unless it's there. But it's a sort of blank space at the top, and the footer is a blank space at the bottom. And the footers are usually where your page numbers go. Or if you have your page numbers at the top of the page, they'll go in the header. Okay, so that's page breaks, section breaks, and page numbers.